Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to Transformers Lore. Last episode, we looked at part 1 of the Marvel Transformers universe, and Shockwave defeated both the Autobots and the Decepticons. Let's continue that story. There is a legend of the Creation Matrix, a program used by whoever possesses it to create new Transformer life. It is said that once every 10 millennia, a new Autobot is chosen and encoded with the Creation Matrix. The current holder of the Creation Matrix is Optimus Prime, leader of the Autobots in this current Great War that broke out when the Decepticons under Megatron intend to conquer Cybertron and use the planet as a base for further conquest of the universe. Among the Autobots was the certified Dr. Ratchet, who really enjoyed parties more than warfare. The Decepticons used slaves called Mechadrones for their labor work. The war waged for a millennia, until a fatal battle between the Nemesis and the Ark occurred. The strategist of the Decepticon attack was one by the name of Shockwave, who Megatron suspected wanted to overthrow him. As the Decepticons boarded the Ark, Shockwave stayed behind to man the Decepticon ship. Of course, the Ark ended up crashing on Earth, and Shockwave immediately went to the planet to investigate. As he entered the atmosphere, the radiation belts ruined his navigation system, and he landed in the Savage Land. The Ark considered Shockwave as a threat, and revived the Dinobots to take care of this. Because the Ark's computers were damaged in the crash, they thought that the dinosaurs were mechanical life, and thus revived the Dinobots into dinosaur modes. The Dinobots went to the Savage Land, where they fought Shockwave, and while Shockwave gained the upper hand, throwing the Dinobots into a tar pit, Snarl managed to cause an avalanche that covered Shockwave in rocks and made him fall offline. However, the Dinobots too went into stasis in the tar pit. 3 miles off the Oregon coast, multi-millionaire industrialist G.B. Blackrock and his employee Josie Beller, only a few years out of high school, have constructed an oil drilling platform of amazing power with the promise of recovering 50% more oil from the ground than any other operation on Earth. Josie Beller herself deserves much credit on this, as she designed much of the platform. It's springtime at the Ark, and Shockwave has strung up all the near-dead Autobots with the intentions of using them for spare parts to keep up maintenance for the Decepticons. The Autobots aren't the only one who have this treatment. Decepticon leader Megatron is also tied to the wall. Shockwave has taken command of the Decepticons since Megatron's failures, and he is researching humans. Shockwave intends to conquer Earth and enslave the human population to help the Decepticons take over the universe. While explaining this plan to the Decepticons that he's repairing, he rips the Autobot Sunstreaker in half in a show of force. Shockwave also reveals that he intends to use the Creation Matrix within Optimus Prime to create new Decepticon warriors. This is a truly dark day for the Autobots. Shockwave then leaves the Ark. At the Greater Portland Medical Center, we learn that Sparkplug Witwicky only had a minor heart attack, and that he was already recovered. Buster tells Ratchet about how Sparkplug poisoned the Decepticons, and Ratchet radios the Ark, but he gets no response. Ratchet decides to go check on the Autobots, but Buster says goodbye to his dad first. However, Sparkplug tells Buster that a giant alien robot civil war is no place for a high school boy, and that Buster can only go to say goodbye to the Autobots, and then have nothing to do with them ever again. Buster promises him he will. Ratchet and Buster arrive at the Ark only to see it guarded by Frenzy and Rimble. Ratchet reluctantly sends Buster to sneak past the Decepticons to enter the Ark and report to Ratchet on the situation. Buster searches the Ark, finding the strung-up Autobots and what's left of Optimus Prime, a living severed head. Shockwave attacks the Blackrock oil platform. The humans put up resistance, but as Shockwave tears them apart, Blackrock himself orders the abandoning of the rig. However, Josie Beller refuses to leave. She then gets electrocuted in her control room, and GB rescues her. Shockwave allows the humans on the rig to return to the mainland for the purpose of delivering a message. The Decepticon conquest of Earth begins today. Shockwave orders the Decepticons to meet at the rig, and Megatron watches helplessly as his army follows the orders of Shockwave. Meanwhile, Optimus Prime asks Buster to step forward and place 2 of the wires connected to his own head to Buster's head. Buster does as Prime says, and a sudden jolt of energy goes into him. Outside of the Ark, Ratchet sees Shockwave enter the Ark. Shockwave meets with Megatron, and Megatron breaks out of his bindings and attacks Shockwave, backhanding him through the Ark, through the volcano, and into the town of Alamont. Shockwave and Megatron engage in a fight, but Megatron is ultimately swept away by Shockwave. Buster manages to return to Ratchet and tells him that all the other Autobots are pretty much dead, and that Ratchet is the last one. They witness Shockwave carry Megatron into the Ark. Inside the Ark, Shockwave displays Megatron's shattered body to the rest of the Decepticons, and demands the Decepticons' allegiance. They all hail Shockwave as their leader, including Megatron. Ratchet and Buster leave the Ark and meet some college students in Mount Hood National Forest. While chatting with these humans, Buster feels a surge of pain. Buster decides to be taken home by the students while Ratchet deals with his problem of the Decepticons. GB Blackrock has taken precautions at his other installations, including installing weaponry at the Blackrock Aerospace Plant No. 1, where the most technologically advanced jet fighters in the US are built. However, an employee carries in Soundwave, who transforms within the installation and captures it in the name of the Decepticons. GB Blackrock is horrified. He goes to the Blackrock Chronic Care Institute, where Josie Beller is hospitalized. She is paralyzed from the neck down, except for some movement in her right arm. Blackrock mentions that another one of his installations has been taken by the robots, and he promises her that the robots will be stopped. As he leaves, Beller works on something and thinks to herself, "No, Blackrock, I promise you." At S. Witwicky Auto Repair, Buster, O, and Jesse arrive, as Buster will be taking care of the business while his father is in the hospital. Jesse reassures Buster that he'll be able to do this. Buster's a smart kid, and he's bound to figure this stuff out. Buster responds by yelling at his friends, saying his father spent 30 years of long, hard work to be a mechanic, and that if they think just anyone can be that good in an instant, then they're useless. O and Jesse leave. As they go, Buster feels another surge of pain, and sees that he made some tools levitate for an instant. At the Ark, Ratchet sneaks around and finds Optimus Prime. As he leaves, he is attacked by Megatron. Megatron beats him around, but pauses when Shockwave gives Megatron an order to prepare Optimus's head for transportation. Ratchet decides to use this to his advantage, and tells Megatron about how Shockwave may have been beaten by the Dinobots once before. Megatron and Ratchet make a deal. If Ratchet can defeat Shockwave, Megatron will return the Autobots over to Ratchet. Ratchet gets in a shuttle and flies over to the Savage Land in Antarctica, and departs on his mobile Autobot repair bay to search around. Eventually, Ratchet finds the Dinobots in the tar pit. Meanwhile, GB Blackrock has assembled an army under Colonel Hawthorne with the intention of taking back Blackrock Aerospace Plant No. 1. But Shockwave attacks the army, squashing any hopes of a counterattack. Shockwave returns to the plant to check on the process of the 6 bodies that are being made for the new Decepticons. Ratchet messages Megatron at the Ark, showing him footage of the Dinobots defeating Shockwave, claiming it to be happening right now, but the footage is actually from 4 million years ago. Megatron goes to meet Ratchet, and then betrays the deal as Megatron intends to kill Ratchet. The Dinobots arrive and fight Megatron for a while until Ratchet causes Megatron to fall off the cliff he was standing on. As Megatron falls, he transforms to gun mode and is buried in the snow. Ratchet and the Dinobots go to the Ark to begin repairing the Autobots. Meanwhile, the hospitalized Josie Beller has developed a piece of machinery that she can use to move and also destroy other machines. She says to herself that she's ready to check out. Meanwhile, GB Blackrock has assembled an army under Colonel. Meanwhile, GB Blackrock has assembled an army under Colonel Hawthorne. Meanwhile,